Program mode. Let's go to Program mode. There are almost 2,000 sound programs, and they can be selected in a few different ways. The up-down buttons, the dial, or the numeric keypad, for example. The programs are grouped in banks of 128 that can be selected using these dedicated bank buttons. Internal banks on the top row and user banks in the lower row. You can also use the screen to select banks and programs. Touch the arrow to the left of the program name. The tabs on the left select the banks. Then simply touch the program you want. Notice the scroll bar on the bottom allowing access to more programs. Touching OK would bring you to the main screen of the selected program. For now, touch Cancel, or press the Exit button, which returns you to our previous program, Internal A000 Kronos German Grand. One of the reasons the Kronos is so powerful is that it has 9 sound engines. Sound engines are the technologies used to create a sound. Typically, a keyboard like this simply uses one sound engine, usually sample playback technology, to create sounds. The Kronos is much more powerful. Let's take a quick look at the 9 sound engines to understand how they work. Of course, the beauty of the Kronos is you can simply select a sound and play it. Everything is done behind the scenes for you. But understanding each sound engine may help you when deciding what sound to use for a particular application. Since we are on program Internal A000 Kronos German Grand, let's start there. This uses the SGX1 sound engine, which is designed solely to create piano sounds, from the strike of the string to the sound the damper pedal makes. The SGX1 accesses a huge piano sample library that resides on the internal solid-state drive. There are 2 SGX1 pianos, a German grand and a Japanese grand. Every note was sampled at 8 velocities with no looping. That's why the pianos sound so good. You'll find several programs with different variations of these 2 pianos because certain characteristics of the pianos can be changed, of course. For example, whether the piano lid is open or closed or somewhere in between. Touch the picture of the piano, and then touch lid position. Use the slider to lower and raise the lid. Notice how the piano becomes brighter as you open the lid, just like on a real grand piano. Press Exit to return to the main page. Select program Internal A13. We're already in the Internal A bank, so use the dial to advance to 13. G Duke Old and Funky Mark I EP, which uses the next sound engine, EP1. EP1 is designed to create electric piano sounds. It uses MDS, multi-dimensional synthesis. After the electric piano is sampled, MDS is able to separate the mechanical noises from the true tonal harmonics, giving separate control over the two. The tonal harmonics are analyzed and put back together in 2 dimensions, velocity and decay. This makes the velocity and decay of the EP1's tine and reed electric pianos seamless, with no sample looping. Let's use the control surface to make some adjustments to the sound. In this program, knob 7 brings up the intensity of the vintage orange phaser effect you see on your screen. But EP1 gives you much more control than that. Contrary to typical sample playback, you have the ability to accentuate and shape the different elements of the sound. Listen how the vector joystick adjusts the hammer width and attack noise. Press the Tone Adjust button, which allows the control surface to directly access and edit different parameters of the sound. In this case, Slider 4 modifies the decay of the notes, making it shorter or longer, but still keeping a natural feel. Still in the internal A bank, use the numeric keypad to select 54. Just press 5, then 4, then Enter. This program uses the CX3 tone wheel organ sound engine, designed to recreate the amazing color and subtleties of a drawbar organ. Notice that the program has been saved with the control surface set to tone adjust. It's designed so these 9 sliders access the 9 drawbars of the organ. The rotary speaker effect is used on this program and is right inside of the CX3 sound engine. Flicking the joystick forward changes the speed. No need to hold it, it acts like a switch. Select program E27. Press the user E bank and enter 27 on the keypad. In 1978, Korg released our legendary MS-20 analog synthesizer. The MS-20 EX sound engine is designed to recreate that legendary sound. Based on an intimate knowledge of the original analog circuits, the Korg engineers were able to make sure that every nuance is replicated. But they didn't stop there. They added, expanded, and improved. The result is a powerful synth engine that not only sounds different than the other analog engines in the Kronos, but is unique compared to any other analog synth. The original had a fun-to-use patch bay, and the MS-20 EX is no different. Select user E004, SNH 5th comp. Touch the patch panel. Now touch the VCO1 out twice, and a box flashes. Now touch the LPF in, and a cable is created patching the voltage-controlled oscillator 1 directly to the low-pass filter. There are lots of MS-20 EX sounds done for you, but this interface makes it fun to get in there and experiment. Let's use the screen to select user E62. Press Exit to go to the main page. Touch the arrow to the left of the name. We're already in the user E bank, so scroll to the right. Touch Program Funky Power Bass and touch OK. The popular Korg Polysix was released in 1981. This is one of the programs using the Polysix EX synth engine that recreates and stays true to that distinct warm analog synthesizer. But we added more EGs, LFOs, modulation of all the original parameters, and more. These old synths were fun to program because you could just reach out and tweak a knob. The Kronos has the same appeal. Touch here to bring up the main Polysix display. You can touch a knob and adjust it, but press the Tone Adjust button. Most of the knobs and switches of the Polysix EX display are already assigned to the control surface. Go ahead, tweak. Don't worry, you won't lose or erase anything. Press Exit to return to the main screen. Let's use a different way to select a program. Touch the category name at the top of the screen. Each program is organized into one of 16 categories. There are 2 user categories as well. It makes it easy to find a sound in the instrument family you need, for example, piano, organ, guitar, synth pad, etc. The categories can be selected with the tabs on the left. There are subcategories as well. Then, as we did before, just touch the sound you want. Go to the Fast Synth category and select Internal A102 Raising Hammer Synth, and then OK. It's fun to be able to recreate and access synths from the past, but this next sound engine, the AL1, was designed from the ground up to create what an analog synthesizer can be today. Remember, these analog synths are using modeling, not sampling, giving you much more flexibility. The performance controllers really show how flexible the AL1 is. You'll notice that the control surface is saved on RT knobs Karma. We'll get to Karma later. RT stands for real time, referring to the control these 8 knobs have over the sound. The first 4 always control these 4 parameters: filter cutoff, resonance, EG intensity, and release. But these last 4 are freely assignable. You'll find that knob 8 and 7 usually control the ambience and modulation effects. Knobs 6 and 5 could be anything. So as usual, it's best to just experiment. Don't worry, even if you save over a program, all the original factory data is backed up on the internal disk. You'll never lose anything. Select program user D000 with the numeric keypad. User bank D. Pressing 0 then enter is enough. This next sound engine uses a completely different technology, physical modeling. The STR1 plucked string synth really is incredible. It can be used to create sounds that are plucked or struck, for example guitars, basses, bells, electric pianos, and more. Instead of just sampling a guitar note, you can literally design what the string is made of, whether it's plucked, struck, or scraped, even where the string is plucked. Press the Tone Adjust button. In this program, slider 1 is set up to control where the string is plucked. As you move the slider, you can go from plucking over the sound hole to near the bridge of the guitar and anywhere in between, all in real time. Select Program Internal A55. Internal Bank A. 55 Mod 7 E-Piano Pad SW1. One of the more popular synth technologies of the 1980s was frequency modulation. Sounds were created by modulating one waveform with another. The Mod 7 wave-shaping VPM synth, the next engine we'll look at, takes this technology to a whole new level. By the way, SW1 in the name refers to switch 1. Sometimes the name has controller information that's important to the sound. For example, AT for aftertouch, JS-Y moving the joystick in the back direction. In this case, SW1 indicates that switch 1 turns on and off the pad sound. As you can hear, this is one of those familiar FM electric piano sounds. But now select user F65. This sound engine can very quickly go from the traditional to groundbreaking. It combines classic FM with wave shaping and sample processing, including using samples as FM modulators, tied together with a modular patch panel. It's a sound designer's dream come true. As deep as the Mod 7 is, anyone can modify the sounds quickly and easily. In this program, the vector joystick simultaneously changes the frequencies of the modulations and more. Easy and powerful. Select Program Internal C14 Stereo Strings. Many of the sound engines we've looked at so far are designed for specific instruments like piano, analog synths, etc. The ninth engine we'll look at is the HD1 high-definition PCM synth. This uses sample playback, so this engine can cover a wide range of musical instruments and sound effects. The samples can be from the internal ROM or RAM area, or from the internal disk in real time, like the ESGX1 does. The HD1 PCM synth is different than the other 8 sound engines. All the others are EXI instruments. Program banks are either EXI or HD1. An HD1 program cannot be saved in an EXI bank, and an EXI program can't be saved in an HD1 bank. From the factory, internal banks B through G and user A and G are HD1. All the other banks are EXI. The user banks can be set to one or the other in global mode. Select internal D101. All the programs in the Kronos, including HD1 programs, are completely set up so that the control surface can quickly and easily modify the sounds. Select user A09. Notice that this program is saved with the control assign set to timbre track. This is normally used to adjust the levels of the sequencer tracks or the timbres of a combination. However, in program mode, it can be used to adjust the levels of the two oscillators. In this program, oscillator 1 is the drum kit mic'd closely, and oscillator 2 is the room ambience. You can simply dial in the amount of ambience you want. Nine sound engines. The Kronos truly is amazing. Let me show you two more sound creation tools, wave sequencing and vector synthesis. These aren't sound engines, but powerful nonetheless. Use the screen this time to select internal F02. Internal F bank, 02 top of the popper. This HD1 program features wave sequencing, basically triggering one sample after another either rhythmically or smoothly, all lockable to tempo. To hear an example of vector synthesis, use the numeric keypad and select internal E85. A sound or group of sounds can be assigned to one of 4 points of the vector, and then the amount of each sound can be controlled manually with the vector joystick, or can be programmed to crossfade through the vector points automatically. It can also simultaneously control things like filter cutoff, panning, LFO intensity, and more, making it a very powerful sound creation tool. Select internal D51. Every program and combination is set up with a drum pattern and drum kit waiting for you to play along with. Simply turn on drum track and start playing. There are hundreds of patterns to choose from. They can be edited or created from scratch. You can also easily select different drum kits. Select user D41. Every program has a Karma module assigned to it. Karma is a technology that creates a musical phrase based on the notes you play on the keyboard, in much the same way as an arpeggiator. However, Karma is much more powerful and, most importantly, flexible. Turn on Karma. Notice that the pattern can be latched, meaning the pattern will continue even when you stop playing the keyboard. For this exercise, turn latch on and play some notes or a chord in the lower range of the keyboard. In this program, Karma is only triggered in the lower range. As I mentioned before, Karma is extremely flexible. Rather than a pattern repeating over and over the same way, the control surface can be used to change the pattern in real time. The program is already set to RT knobs Karma. Touch the Control Surface tab. Now the screen displays what each slider and switch is assigned to control. This isn't necessary, but it can be helpful at times. Okay, here we go. Slider 2, Rhythm Complexity. Slider 3, Duration. Slider 5, Note Range. The slider assignments may differ a bit from program to program, but you will notice a certain consistency. You can save up to 8 Karma scenes capturing the position and status of the Karma sliders and switches. Then go from scene to scene to quickly change the Karma pattern. Turn on drum track for even more musical interaction. It is important to understand that everything created by Karma is simply MIDI information. That means it can all be recorded into the Kronos' sequencer or an external sequencer. Think of Karma as a toolkit of musical phrases. These phrases can be used to help sequence difficult things like harp glisses or guitar strumming, or to simply inspire you with new musical ideas. We'll look at the effects system later on in the sequence chapter, but briefly, each program can have 12 insert effects, 2 master effects, and 2 total effects, plus a 3-band EQ. Before we move on, I want to show you one of the truly wonderful new technologies of the Kronos, SST, Smooth Sound Transitions. This allows you to go from one program to another without the sound or the 16 simultaneous effects cutting off. Watch, I'll select internal A54 and then go through some programs. What's great about SST is that you can do it in any mode: program, combination, sequence, setlist. And unlike other systems, you don't need to reserve any effects or sounds. You can use everything and it just works. Of course, it doesn't keep all the sounds going forever. That's impossible. But SST does allow you to play a sound and smoothly move to the next. Then the current sound replaces the previous, so you can move on to the next, and so on and so on.